Hey guys, and welcome to episode 2 of my Ironman progression series. In this episode, I'll be doing some of the usual Ironman dailies, some minor PVM, an unethical amount of masterstroke smithing, and I will be going over what I believe to be the most effective use of smithing brawlers. I hope you enjoy. This episode starts off where the last one ended, at a total XP of 3,555,500,000, and an overall rank of 55. I wasn't entirely sure how to start this episode, so I felt that chronological order would be a good bet. So here are the dailies that I did that I remembered to record. I started with my Jacket Trades runs. I do 2 of these and reset with the Premier artifact pretty much every day. I used to put this XP into construction, but the construction contracts were recently released, so I started putting all of my Jacket Trades XP into agility. I then went and did my art contracts. Unfortunately, on this day, I wasn't very lucky with the cooking contracts. After my art contracts, I collected my Viswax, and then I started my shop runs. Typically, I purchased the 9,000 broad arrowheads, some herblore supplies from the herblore shops, the yak hides, and the runes from Yanil and the Moon Clan Isles. I then typically move on to collecting resources, which include the Crystal Sandstone, Coeden's logs with the Prifdinus elite tasks, the Potato Cactus with desert tasks, the Crystal Tree Blossom, and if I remember to, the Garaja Resource Dungeon for Cavefish, Herb Ones, or Yew, or Magic Trees. Finally, I move on to do my daily challenge, which is usually agility or construction. Once I finish all of my dailies, I feel like I'm finally able to start doing other activities. If I want downtime to watch Netflix or edit videos, I usually go to the Ark. On this particular day, I ended up doing some active skilling. It just so happened to be summoning. Alright, it's Amulet Hour, so I'm just going to start up some summoning again. From the Abyssal Demons that I've done over the past week or so, I have achieved, 8,000 Crimson Charms almost exactly. So yeah, I'm just going to use some of these up during Amulet Hour, and I will see how much XP I get. It's about 10 minutes in, so I'll get 50 minutes of the hour. And that's 120 mil summoning XP achieved. During that summoning hour, I was able to achieve 5,359,000 XP, so that comes a little bit lower than my estimates, but I think that's on account of me starting the hour a little bit late. For those that are curious, I have 351 Crimson Charms left over after that summoning hour. So if it had actually been a full hour, I would have run out of Crimson Charms anyways, so it's kind of good that I started a little bit late. Alright, I just want to use up the last of my boosts restoring some artifacts from archaeology. Yeah, I still have the 10 minutes left over because of the late start on the Amalot hour. My wrists aren't really sore from all of that summoning, so I decided that I would just go beat them up a little bit more doing some rune crafting. So I'm not entirely sure why this hasn't been addressed yet, but I was looking at the smithing brawlers on the wiki, and the two methods that they listed, which are the Draconic Visage and Protean Bars, neither of them are feasible for Ironman. So I was curious why they hadn't listed the Elder Rune Burial sets, because, well, I did a lot of those when I was going for 120 smithing. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I realized that there's an anvil in the wilderness, and I thought, well, if it works on the Masterstroke potions at the Artisan's Workshop, why wouldn't it work in the wilderness using the exact same method? So I went to test it out, and well, here are the results. So as you can see, without the brawlers, I was getting 3,800 XP, and with the brawlers, I got 14,700 XP, and then 16,000 XP. I'm pretty sure that the 16,000 XP just happened to be a Tinker proc. Because of how far away the bank is, I felt like the only appropriate skill to train alongside smithing was mining. If you've watched my Stone Spirits video, then you'd know that Bainite Stone Spirits are actually worth using over making Elder Rune bars, without Stone Spirits. So mining Bainite alongside smithing at this anvil is actually incredibly efficient. The big concern is that you're risking quite a bit of wealth because you're in deep wilderness, and if you die, then you definitely will lose your brawlers. If you haven't seen my Stone Spirits analysis video and you'd like to check it out, I will include a link in the top right of the screen that you can click on. There are a lot of things that I'm unsure about for mining, but one of the big things is where you're supposed to use your mining brawlers. I happen to have a pair in my bank, and I think that I'd try them out deep wilderness with these Bainites. I think I'd probably save them for the opportunities, but I'll have to do some testing on this. I'm pretty sure that the new Orthan Power Burst potion will actually stack with the brawlers, and I'll have to do some testing with the Gargoyle Scroll and see if that works as well. Perhaps this is the brawler that I'll test in my next video. After using up my smithing brawlers at the wilderness, I decided that I was going to go do some smithing and herb lore at the Artisan's Workshop. I also have a video detailing how this method works. One of my friends has affectionately termed this method smerb, and it just made me laugh and I couldn't help but share. But yeah, I spent quite a bit of time smerbing. I think in total I earned about 13 million herblore XP and just under 5 million smithing XP. After smerbing for about 4 or 5 hours, I decided that I'd move on to something new. I was really curious what the Jadinko firemaking method's XP rates actually were, so I went to test those out. It turns out that the 840k EHP rate on Crystal Math Lab is actually entirely correct. Over the course of the day, I was able to attend 2 Gothixian caches, which netted me just over 146k XP. It always feels like I am centering my days around these dailies, and that's probably the case, but they're just so incredibly efficient, like it would be asinine to pass these up. Over the course of the next couple of days, along with continuing to do the daily grinds, I was able to weave in a couple of quests here and there. I know, 3.5 billion XP and don't even have quest cape. It's just the little things in this game that I just have no interest in doing sometimes. For the sake of brevity in this episode and future episodes, I'll probably only include one montage outlining my dailies, so I won't bore you with the details of which dailies I ended up doing. Hint, they're entirely the same ones that I outlined earlier. I also felt that it was high time that I finally get the Inspired Genius relic. I've been pretty bad about keeping up with archaeology relics, and well, this one just goes to show that. The Inspired Genius relic is just a 2% XP on all artisan skills, so I'm not entirely sure why it has taken me so long to get this done, considering that I'm more than halfway done most of the artisan skills, but better late than never. At some point I snuck in some Vindicta and Twin Furies. I still am definitely not kitted out with Aftershock Equilibrium 2 on all of my weapons, so I'm gonna have to go and get this at some point. I then spent a couple more hours trying to learn how to kill Raksha. Definitely not great at this boss, and those tail swipes are mega OP. I think over the course of like 4 hours, or maybe even 5 hours, I only have like 26 kills, so yeah, it's kind of sad. But I will include loot for the successful kills that I remember to record. Alright, that about wraps up this video. I'm sorry if it seems like there is a major lack of content, but this is just one of the issues with a high level account. Over the course of making this video, I actually achieved 35 million XP, and a lot of that appeared behind the scenes, so this took quite a bit of time, but you didn't actually see a lot of it. My ending XP for this video is 3,590,000,000. So as I just said, this is just under 35 million XP increase. Just before I go, I'd just like to mention that I have a spreadsheet that I've been working on for dailies. In its current state, I definitely say that it is neither the most optimal nor the most aesthetically pleasing. However, over the next couple of days, or maybe couple of weeks, I'd like to work on it and get it to the point where I can give it out to everyone. There was some other functionality originally planned to go with this spreadsheet, but I've sort of lost interest in it, so maybe if there's enough interest I'll start it back up. But anyways, thank you to everyone who got this far into the video. I know that sometimes the skilling content is a little boring and dry, but I'm just hoping that I'm able to spread some awareness, or at least give some game knowledge about some of these sort of neat, intricate skilling methods. If you have anything that you'd like me to test, I definitely would be interested in doing so. You can just leave me a comment or message me in-game. I have some final exams coming up shortly, so this might be the last video for a couple of weeks. We'll see. Making these videos is actually incredibly time-consuming, so despite wanting to do it, I feel like I'm always gated, and I feel like I should be studying more than I'm putting time into this game. If you like this video and you'd like to see more, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'd like to hear any feedback that you'd like to give me in the comments. Tell me what you enjoyed or what you didn't enjoy about this video so that I'm able to improve them in the future. As I've said over and over, my goal with this series is to improve with each new video I make. Take care, everyone.